Hi, this tutorial is going to show you how to make question banks and then how to add questions within those banks. So question banks are optional, but what they're going to let you do is they're going to let you keep yourself organized. You can house questions together by content. You can pull from banks for students to have random questions. If at the end of the semester you want to do a summative assessment or you want to do some kind of review, you'll be able to pull from these banks. So it's just a way to kind of keep yourself organized. And you don't need to do a question bank in order to write quizzes, but I think it'll make it a little bit easier if you prefer it to be a little bit more organized. So once you're in your course, go ahead and navigate to the quizzes tab here. You can see I've already clicked on it, but go ahead and go to that quizzes tab. Once you're in here, you're going to go to our three vertical dots and you're going to go to manage question banks. So these are some question banks I've already set up. Yours will probably just say unfiled questions, although it might not. So if you've made questions and you didn't put them in a bank, they're going to be housed in this unfiled questions. So anytime you've made a question and you didn't bank it, you'll be able to find it in here. But let's say we want to make a question bank. So you can name your question bank whatever you want. It can be called like Unit 3, like this one down here, Chapter 2. It could be called, the title of the novel you're reading or the content that you are currently looking at. So it's completely up to you. So let's say you're going to have a question bank all about World War II. So we'll just go ahead and call it World War II. So that's all you need to do to actually establish the question bank. Now, to write a question within that bank, what you'll do is go ahead and click on the name of that question bank. And once you're within the question bank, you can go ahead and add a question. So when you go to add a question, the first thing it lets you do is title it. You don't really need to title it. It's not going to show up on the quiz with the title. This would be more if you're just kind of looking through your questions, but you'll actually be able to read the question. So it's up to you if you want to title it. And then you can see all the options for the type of question: multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blanks, multiple fill-ins, multiple answers, drop-downs, matching, numerical, formula, essay, file upload, and text with no question. So there's a lot of different options you can pick here. Let's start by looking at multiple choice. So if you're writing a multiple choice question, you'll just go ahead and type the question into the text box. So for example, you might say, trying to think some World War II stuff. I don't know a whole lot off the top of my head, but let's say, who did the U.S. fight in World War II? Obviously a very general question, but you can do whatever question you want. As you scroll down then, you'll see the default here is to have 4 possible answers, one of which is going to be correct. The others, you can tell they're possible answers, but they're wrong. So once you've typed it in, if you want to change your answer, you would just click an arrow next to the one that would be correct and it should turn green. So for the correct answer, let's just say Germany, obviously a simplified version there. And what you can do is you can add a comment if they pick this option. So if you wanted to, you could say great job or something like that. For other possible answers, right, these are your wrong answers. So this could be anything. So I'm going to be really off the board here. I'm going to put Mexico, definitely not. But Canada, oops. Canada, definitely not. And let's put the USA, see if they're paying attention to the question. Now, the other thing you can do is put general comments for any correct answer that you put. In this case, it would just be this one, Germany. Any wrong answers, so you might say, please reread chapter 2 of the textbook, right? Some kind of hint for them. For any wrong answer. You also might put a specific wrong answer. So if you put the USA, they might get a specific one that says, like, did you read the question? Something like that. And then the other thing you can do is for any answer. So no matter what the answer, you could put a comment here. So it lets you kind of decide if you want to give comments based on those questions. You can also change the point value, things like that. And then just go ahead and click Update Question. And now you have a question within this question bank. Now let's say this question falls in the World War II bank, but I also want it into another bank. I can move it. So if I want it in practice questions, I can select that bank. And then what I can do is keep this checked here. So keep a copy in this question bank as well. So now this question will show up in both question banks, which is really handy. So that's kind of an easy way to add the question. And again, regardless of the type of question you're adding, it's all going to kind of be pretty similar. So like a true false, again, you have the green versus the red being correct. You have the comments that you can add, things like that. Something like an essay question. You have a general comment you can leave for anyone who submits, changing the points value, all those things. Fill in the blank, right? So here's our possible answers. You can have more than one. So if you want to make, plural versus not plural and count them both correct, you could do that. So there's a few different options within the question bank. So that's how you build questions within the bank. If you build a question not in a bank, you can always add it later. So remember, other questions will go under unfiled questions. So if you have a question under unfiled questions and you realize, whoops, you actually wanted that in another bank, remember you can move it, right? So if I really want this in Unit 3, I can move it there. I don't have to keep it in this unfiled bank. I can just go ahead and move that question. And you can always edit the bank details, things like that, as you change your mind on how you build your course. So that's how you build a question bank, as well as adding questions on to your Canvas course.